You ever notice how once you start thinking about something, you suddenly see it everywhere? Well, that's no accident. Today, we're diving into a hidden force that quietly, powerfully shapes our reality: confirmation bias. So it really all boils down to this one question. Why is it that our brains cling so tightly to what we already think is true? I mean, even when we're staring at evidence that says the exact opposite. It's a really powerful and universal human thing. And the answer? Well, it's basically a hidden instinct, a kind of mental shortcut that goes way back, probably helping our ancestors make split-second decisions to survive. So you see, it's not really a flaw in our wiring, it's more like a feature designed to help us manage the crazy amount of information we see every single day. So what's the official definition? Confirmation bias is our brain's default setting to hunt for, interpret, and remember any information that backs up what we already believe. It's kind of like you're wearing special glasses that only let you see the things you were already expecting to see in the first place. But here's the thing. It's not just a simple shortcut. It's actually a defense mechanism. It's there to protect our worldview from being challenged. It helps us avoid that uncomfortable feeling of being wrong, and it lets us feel confident and smart about our judgments, even when they're totally flawed. And this really gets right to the heart of it. You know, we love to think of ourselves as these objective detectives, carefully gathering information. But a lot of the time, we're acting more like lawyers, just building a case for a conclusion we've already decided on.
Okay, so how does this actually work day to day? Because confirmation bias isn't just one simple thing. It actually has two distinct faces, two main ways it pops up in our behavior.
First, you've got what we can call selective search. This is when you're actively looking for info that confirms your view. You know, like when you Google the exact phrase that you know is going to give you the answer you want. And then you've got selective interpretation. This is where you take neutral or even ambiguous facts and just bend them until they fit your story. Both paths lead to the exact same place, a world that looks just like you thought it would. Now, this isn't just some interesting psychological quirk. This has a real-world cost. In our modern world, this ancient mental habit can lead to some seriously bad outcomes, especially in a couple of key areas: our social feeds and our bank accounts. I mean, just think about your social media feed. The algorithms, they learn what you like, and then they just show you more of it. This creates a filter bubble, right? And that bubble quickly turns into an echo chamber, where your own beliefs are just reflected back at you over and over, making them seem way more correct and common than they actually are. It is a perfect storm for polarization. And now, let's talk about your finances. Say you've invested in a particular stock. Confirmation bias is that little voice pushing you to only look for good news about its bright future, while conveniently dismissing reports about major problems. This creates this dangerous overconfidence, and, well, it can cause you to ignore huge red flags until it's way too late. Here's a perfect example of that selective interpretation in action. Two people can read the exact same news story about some tragic event, but because of what they already believe, they don't see the same facts. They see proof for their completely opposite viewpoints. The key here is that the evidence didn't change their minds at all. It actually made their original positions even stronger. So the big question is, are we just doomed to live inside these little bubbles we create for ourselves? Well, not necessarily. While we can't get rid of this bias completely, we can learn to spot it and push back against it. The whole key is to actively work against our brain's laziest instincts. The single most effective thing you can do is to become your own devil's advocate. So instead of asking, what information proves I'm right, you need to ask, what is the absolute best argument against my belief? You have to actively search for smart, well-reasoned points of view that challenge your own. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's really the only way to see the full picture. So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Sometime this week, I want you to pick a news source you normally can't stand, one you think is totally biased or just wrong. Read an article and just try to find one single valid point. The goal isn't to change your mind. It's just to prove to yourself that you can. Think you can do it?